Yeah, hi, good morning, guys. I hope everybody's well. This morning I would love to just talk about, I've had a bit of a frustrating, if you want to call it, couple of days with a client that reserved a property a long time ago, and I'd like to talk about something which might be a little bit sensitive for a lot of people, certainly for a lot of companies, I think, which is reviews, bad reviews, good reviews, and everybody's right to leave a review. And if I can kind of explain why I want to do this video, it's because the internet these days is so powerful, and unfortunately anything that is deemed to be on the internet, the majority of people think it's true. If it's on the internet, of course it's true, which is of course not the case at all. And you know, as a company owner and a company director, I think it's everybody's right to leave a review, but I think the review has to be factually correct in what's happened. And the reason that's prompted me to do this review, because I've really been upset with this client over the last couple of days, just at some of the words that he's using, and it's very unwarranted, and it's just really upset me. And so just to give you the short story, or maybe not a short story, the client reserved a property with us in Cleveland, and it was a 4-unit building. We explained to the client that it's a cash purchase. He paid his reservation, he paid his fee, which of course, as you know, is non-refundable. It's transferable, so if for whatever reason you don't like the inspection or the survey on the property, then you can transfer the funds from one property to another, which I clearly explained to the client. And it's also in our reservation document as well, so it's clearly pointed out on the paperwork and the documents that you sign, you know. So he paid the reservation, signed the contract, we ordered the inspections. He actually visited the first property that he reserved, and he didn't like it. He said, "Mike, I'm sorry, I don't like it," which is fine, fair enough. It wasn't actually that bad a house, but you know, it's obviously his right, as per the contract, to cancel, and we looked for another property. So we looked for another property, and at this point he brought up that he wanted to use finance, which is not something we normally work with. But I said, okay, I need to find a seller that is willing to work with somebody who wants finance. So I did that, and I found him a really nice property, a triplex 3-unit in Cleveland. So he said, "Mike, I want to go back and I want to go see the house." So I said, "Fine, no problem." We had him picked up, shown around with our staff on the ground in Cleveland. He was actually an hour late to meet one of the guys on the ground, but we waited for him, and we took him to the house, and we showed him the property. So I got a text or a phone call or an email, and John did as well, who deals with the inspections. This is after the inspection, after he's met the management company, and he said, "This house is great, it's fantastic, but Mike, I need extra time to close. I need till November the 7th, I think, to close." So I said, "I need to speak to the seller, because we thought we were going to close straight away. You told me that the money was in place, you had the finance all set up," which wasn't the case. So we then get an email of him, I think on the 31st of October, basically saying, "Give the house to somebody else." I'm like, "What do you mean, give the house to somebody else? We have a contract in place, you have a deposit in place, and the sellers agreed to give you an extension till November the 7th. So he said to John, "John, you know, I've had this property appraised, and it's appraised at half of the price that you're selling it for," which is impossible, because we need to let him in to get an appraisal. on the property. If you can understand, obviously we've got to give him access, and there's no bank in the world would do an appraisal without getting in and looking at the house and seeing an SOW, which is like a scope of work on the property, which he didn't have. So it wasn't obviously the full story. So then I spoke to a lady that does finance for us, and she said, Mike, you know, I spoke to this client the other day, and he was looking at buying this property on XXX. He loved the property, and he wanted to buy it, but he wanted to put 5% down. So 5% deposit doesn't exist. So I think you can probably read through the lines. And reading through the lines is, the bottom line is, I think the client doesn't have the funds to close on the property, which is fine. And, you know, a lot of people can make mistakes. I've done it myself many years ago, but you buy things that you can't afford or that you shouldn't be buying. But if he comes to me and says, Mike, you know, I don't have the funds, I don't have the cash in place, I can't buy the house, you know, what can we do? And just be honest and be straight, and then we'd sit down and we'd work something out. Like I did for another client who's a lovely lady from South America, and we helped her out, but she was very honest with me and didn't ask for anything, and never once threatened, Mike, unless you do this or unless you do this, I'm going to do a bad review online for you, you know? It's just not right, I think. And I just wanted to cover it and to share, because it's some of the words that he used, like con man, thief. Like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and my company's been doing it for 11 years, and we've sold 6,000 properties. So certainly con men or thieves or liars don't last 11 years in business. And maybe this video is a little bit controversial and a little bit, it might touch a nerve with some people. I'm not sure, you know. But I think in terms of reviews, you know, I think you can look at the biggest companies in the world, the likes of Apple, the likes of Porsche, the likes of Amazon. They all have bad reviews, and I think when I'm looking at buying a product off somebody, certainly a product for the amount of money as a house, obviously you would look at reviews and look online. And to be honest with you, if I seen a company with just 5-star reviews, just positive reviews, and they've been in business so long, I think I'd be kind of worried and probably think there's something wrong with that. Because I think every company, even the likes of Apple and Porsche and Amazon, even Trustpilot themselves, have bad reviews. But people still leave reviews on Trustpilot. People still buy an Apple computer. People still buy a Porsche. And I think as a company, we sell properties in America and the UK. And of course, sometimes we get issues or things that we have to deal with. A tenant leaves, or a client needs to spend money on a property. And I think it's how, as a company, you deal with it. It's how you deal with the client and how we help the situation and be there for our clients. I think that's what's most important. But I just think there's so much on the internet now, and some reviews can be false, some reviews can be true. And I think if you want to find a reason not to buy something, you can find it. Just look on the internet. You'll find lots of reasons not to buy something. But if you want to find reasons to buy something, then you can find those as well. So I think it's about how you look at the situation, look at the product, look at the company that you're buying the product from. But I think the bottom line is speak to the company yourself before making any decisions. And I think people are wise, and I think people can see through things now. And I think, like, I'm a family man, and it's really touched a nerve with me this week. It really has. I had what I thought a good relationship with this client, and it was just some of the words that he used were just, and he's going to do a bad review online and all this, but a bad review about what? We've done nothing but treat the gentleman with courtesy. We've shown him around Cleveland twice, and we've paid for inspections for 2 houses for him. One of them was a fantastic property, and then this comes out of the blue, and it's kind of shocked me this week, and I know that some people they can look at a bad review online and it stops them buying, which is fine. I get that, no problem at all. But I think sometimes reading the wrong review can make you make a wrong decision and actually end up losing you money, because you could benefit from buying a property. But I think if you're a client and if you've looked at some reviews and thought, something, I'm on the fence, whether I should buy a property with this company or not, speak to us about it. And I think there's too many clients that they're speaking to us, or they have a chat. And don't get me wrong, we've got maybe, 5 or 6 bad reviews online, and which, by the way, we've responded to every single one. So everyone has a response, so you can read our take on it. But I think the bottom line is, don't just disappear and think, okay, oh my God, I've just read that bad review. Why don't you call us up and say, Mike or Scott or Barry or Ian or John or Michael or Marcella, I really like what you've got. I like your product, but I've read this review online and it's really kind of put me off. Can you explain it, please? And then maybe when we give you our take on it, you might see a different light on the situation, because of course there's always 2 sides to every story. But anyway, it's just upset me this week and I wanted to share it. And I think it's also a good video to do, because I think it's something that never really gets touched on, because people are, bad reviews, how do we answer this, how do we answer that? And so yeah, I'll leave you with that for the day. We've got some great properties this week in Cleveland. Well, like I said, we've been in business 11 years. We do good by our clients, and do we get problems? Yes, we do. Of course, like any company that has been in business 11 years, we get issues. But I think, like I said, it's about how we deal with those issues as a company. And I think personally we deal with them very well. So I'll leave you with that. Have a great week, and we shall see you soon.